Hey, what's up everyone? Happy holidays, and when the weather starts to cool down, there's only one thing that I think about, and that's hot chocolate.
Right.
And today, we're not making one, we're not making two, but we're making 5 different varieties. We really hope you enjoy these. Check them out. First step is take your favorite fall spices, allspice, clove, cinnamon, star anise, and nutmeg. Toast them in a dry pan until highly aromatic. Once you start to smell the spices, place them in a sauce pot, cover them with heavy cream to make your pumpkin spice infused base. Then, place your burner on high heat, watching carefully so it doesn't boil over. Once it does come to a boil, set it aside and cool to room temperature and let it infuse. For even more intense pumpkin spice flavor, you could freshly grind your toasted spices and add them at the beginning of making this amazingly delicious pumpkin spiced hot chocolate. For an intensely raspberry flavored hot chocolate, I bought these amazing freeze-dried raspberries from my local Whole Foods. Place them in your incorrectly labeled yet favorite spice grinder and grind them to a fine, bright pink powder. We're going to add this to our heavy cream to have a hot chocolate that really tastes like fresh raspberries dipped in chocolate. To our sauce pot, we're going to add our heavy cream and our ground freeze-dried raspberry powder, stir it to combine, and like before, we're going to bring the cream up to a boil, watching carefully so it doesn't boil over. Then, take a fine mesh strainer and strain it to remove any seed particles from this beautifully magenta infused raspberry cream. Wow, look at that color. Absolutely incredible. Tastes like fresh raspberries. For our next version, we're going to use fresh peppermint infused cream. Now, be careful, bring it up just under a boil and then let it steep so that way you don't get a bruised minted flavor. Then we'll strain it through a fine mesh strainer and it'll be perfectly ready to use. These are passion fruits. When they start to get wrinkly, they are actually ripe. Cut through their thick skins to expose their beautiful yellow color, their sweet and tart floral seeds and pulp. Then using a spoon, scrape all the seeds and pulp into your heavy cream. Passion fruit is an amazing match for chocolate. Its sweet, tart, and floral flavor really highlights the chocolate's bitter and sweet, rich flavors, and it's one of my all-time favorite flavor combinations. Like before, bring it to a boil and let it infuse until it's cool. When you're straining the passion fruit from the cream, make sure to firmly press the seeds and pulp to extract the maximum flavor. You want to break up all the pulp to make sure all the juice gets into the cream. Absolutely incredible. This next version is inspired by Turkish coffee. Using the side of your knife, crush open fresh green cardamom pods. There really is no other spice as unique as this to me. Crushing them will release their floral bouquet and really level up this hot chocolate. Next, I use instant coffee powder to make sure that the end product is rich, velvety, smooth, and intensely coffee flavored. Like before, we're going to stir this in, bring it up to a boil. Once it comes up to a boil, let it infuse and then strain through a fine mesh strainer. The coffee and cardamom notes will really enhance this Turkish coffee-inspired hot chocolate. I hope you like it as much as I do. So now that all of the creams are infused, we can start making our hot chocolates. We're going to start with the infused creams. We're going to bring it up to a boil, add our chopped up chocolate chips, or any chocolate chunks you have. We're going to mix it up until it becomes velvety smooth and a chocolate ganache. Then we're going to add our cocoa powder and our brown sugar in this case, or any sweetener you like. For the October spice, I want the molasses flavor. Then we could add our milk. I use whole milk. If you like substitute milks, you're more than welcome to do that. Make these as you like them. But once they come up, get nice and smooth, we're going to pour it into a cup and it's going to be absolutely incredible. If you want to level up the October flavor, the pumpkin spice, you could start with fresh toasted spices at the beginning in the cream as well. The next one, we're going to do the raspberry infused. Look at that beautiful magenta color. We're going to take the raspberry cream, we're going to bring it up to a boil, and just like before, we're going to make a chocolate ganache base. That's what makes these hot chocolates so rich, so velvety, and so delicious. Once that gets nice and emulsified, becomes velvety smooth, this time we're going to use white sugar and high quality cocoa powder and mix that in. I like doing it in this process so there aren't any lumps. Then we're going to thin it out with our milk, get it to the nice desired consistency, and once again pour it into our mugs. For this raspberry hot chocolate, we're going to have beautiful whipped cream and a raspberry coulis garnish. Next is our peppermint hot chocolate. We're going to take chocolate and peppermint York patties and emulsify this to make our chocolate ganache base. Once this comes up to a boil, we're going to take our sugar and cocoa powder as well, add it in. We're going to emulsify it, make it nice and smooth, and thin this out with milk. This has an intensely minty flavor, both from the fresh peppermint and the peppermint York patties. This is awesome if you're a peppermint fan. So here's the tropical passion fruit infused cream. Now for this recipe and all recipes, you could actually add a little pinch of salt. We're going to do that for this one. It really balances out nicely. We're going to bring this up to a boil, add our chocolate in, make a chocolate ganache just like before, add our sugar and our cocoa powder. The recipe is the same for all of these. You can infuse the cream with whatever you like, make up flavor combinations of your own. The possibilities are endless, but this one is killer, stunning, and absolutely incredible. My favorite. We're gonna add our milk, thin it out, and for this one, I like garnishing it with marshmallows. It brings out the child in me, what can I say? And finally, we have our kind of adult version, our Turkish coffee inspired hot chocolate. I love coffee and chocolate together. I think it's a beautiful pairing. It has a really, really mature, bitter, deep, rich flavor that goes incredibly well. We're gonna do it like before, add our chocolate in, turn this chocolate ganache base into one of the most stunning, flavorful coffee things you've ever had. And to be honest, if you're sensitive to caffeine or it's late at night and you're sitting around the fireplace and you don't want to be up all night, you could use decaf coffee as well, which works just as good. And we're going to thin this out with cream once more, put it into a bowl. I like finishing this one with a little bit of extra whipped cream. It's nice and creamy and rich and tastes like a beautiful coffee hot chocolate. For some amazing garnishes, one thing you can do is make a raspberry coulis. Raspberry coulis is super simple to make. You take fresh raspberries, sprinkle in some sugar, just enough to kind of coat them, and a fresh squeeze of fresh lemon juice. The citrus really brings out the tartness and the beautiful flavor of the raspberries. You cook them out, mush them up, and then strain them. Don't cook it for too long. You want it to be nice, loose, syrupy, and incredibly flavored. But make sure to press firmly on all the seeds to get all the raspberry goodness out. But a fine mesh sieve will make sure you don't get any of the nasty texture of the seeds in your teeth while you're drinking your hot chocolate. Also, what else we can do is make whipped cream. Whipped cream is super easy. It literally takes a whisk, some elbow grease, and a little bit of sugar to take heavy cream and whip it into stiff peaks.
Alright guys, so as you can see, with a little creativity, you can have a plethora of choices of hot cocos. We have the pumpkin spice, the raspberry, the wintergreen and peppermint patty, we have the passion fruit, and we have the last but not least, the coffee and cardamom. That's kind of inspired by our Turkish coffee. So, which one do you want to try? I'm going for the passion fruit because that's one of my favorite combinations ever.
I'm going for mint.
Alright, so let's see. For me, the tartness of the passion fruit is incredible. What do you think about yours?
For me, I think this is like rich, and the mint, because I'm a sucker for mint.
I'm gonna try this.
Everyone knows this.
cheers, happy holidays. We hope you enjoy these. Get creative. If you do, please send us your stuff at Dudes and Nudes. Buy the like button in the description, and we'll see you next time. Yes, I'm still in the same shirt, guys. Hey, what's up, My wife hated that when I looked down
She
that
said it
way.
went